So, I have been having an absolute blast with this little truck. I mean, it is so easy to take everywhere. I've been driving on my little indoor course section. Section of course is kind of boring with the 18th and 24th scale, but much more exciting and challenging with this little guy. Couple of really easy, free upgrades. I moved the shocks back to the innermost positions to get a little bit more flex, just using this little tool that comes with the car. And then I also got a little bit of weight up front with some scrap wire that I had around the house from some electrical projects I'd done in the past. Pretty much, I think any sort of copper wire would work. And then I trimmed the foam. So let's check it out. So here's how much it flexes with the stock shock positioning. Not a ton, but not bad. So when I flex it on this LGRP Swamp King, this tire's actually just a hair off the ground. It cannot quite flex that much. All right, front rear shocks moved forward 3 millimeters. Front shocks back 3 millimeters. And it flexes on this tire just fine now. Makes full contact. But if I lift it up anymore, the back tire starts to lift back here. So it doesn't get a ton more flex, but it's noticeable. Every little bit helps when you're working with a car the size of the palm of your hand. This also drops the whole stance just a little bit, which I think could help with this top heavy body. So these little wheels were surprisingly tough to take off of this little axle. Felt like I was going to break the truck trying to pull that off of there the first time. So since these are glued, I very delicately ripped off the bead all around the inside. I'm going to leave the glue intact on the front side of the rim, but on the back side I'm going to pull out the foam. Oh, it's dirty. Gross. So I can pull out the foam, and I'm going to try to add something heavy inside. That you can already tell that these tires are super soft and sticky. This foam is not super stiff, but it's stiff for how tiny this thing is. So I'm gonna mess around with these and see what I can figure out. All right, so we just got the foam removed up front. Just gonna give this a little test run. They're really squishy. Looks like there's no sidewall support at all. So that might be a problem. You can see the tire just kind of squished a little too much maybe. Well, let's see. each piece is about 1.1 gram, or about 1 gram to 1.1 grams, so about a gram. I'm going to see how many I can wrap around each little wheel. So I only managed to get 2 coils on so far, and it seems like I'm going to have to maybe trim the foam before putting it back on there significantly. I was hoping to get like 3 or 4 of these coils on there, or these wires, but I'll try for 3. So 2 wires was the limit. This is getting way too big already. I'm going to have to fit that bead in there anyways, and I'm going to try to squeeze this trimmed foam. I traced a 1/4, just make the hole much bigger. I still want to have a little bit of firmness to these tires. So let's see if I can squeeze that in over there and seal these back up. I was actually able to squeeze that in just fine. You can see the little wires. I use those little holes to kind of lock the wires in place. You won't see them when you're running. But stock tire is 3, and now we're looking at a 5.1. So I just added 2 grams, so it'll be 4 grams total in the front. So that trimmed foam honestly gives a little bit nicer, softer of a squish until you get down to the copper wire in there. So hopefully that remains stable while adding a little bit of weight and a little bit more squish. Alright, so before we call it a day, let's get this little guy out on the outdoor course. It's made for 18th and 24th scale stuff, and see how it does. Alright, now I'm probably going to jinx it, but this thing seems to have really good battery life. No problem. Wow, it didn't tip over there. That's pretty cool. Oh. Oh. Wow. Oh. Nice. High center there. Uh-oh. I might need to glue those tires on the back. Alright. Tire bead popped back in, no problem. Alright, I'm impressed. So, final thoughts. I'm pretty happy with how this thing is doing so far. Honestly, this little brushed motor is perfectly fine. I can't believe people are spending over $100 to upgrade the power on this thing. I really don't think it needs it for this size. I am really looking forward to getting some like brass steering knuckles and maybe some steering linkage to add a little bit more weight to the front. Then I think this thing could really kick ass, and maybe a lighter body. There's some Proline bodies, but I'm going to wait and see if anything else comes out. All right. Take care, everybody. Peace.